So let's begin with Max.Cohen07. Straight to the point, he says Charlie Dean should never play AFL again. Now, VFL form warranted a try at AFL level. He's still 20, he's only 24, so there is potential there for him to become the player that we think he can become and hope he can become. He's in this weird gap where players fall in between the crux of like a Finlay McRae, who just is just too good for VFL, but just can't do it on a consistent basis at AFL level. Yes, Charlie Dean was underwhelming against the West Coast Eagles. Got bodied a little bit too easy. Just didn't show us what we needed to see, really. There wasn't a lot of positive clips from his game watching it back. Do I think we should drop Charlie Dean? So I think it's deeper than that, don't you think? Look at it this way. Billy Frampton is out for another 5 weeks. Or 4 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it may be. It's a soft tissue calf. That is always concerning. There's no promises in this world of sport, elite sport, at the highest levels of intensity that he's going to come back and it's going to be all smooth sailing. The alternative is, without Billy Frampton, you play Bruzzy, Howie, and Darcy Moore as the bastions of the back line. Okay, I understand that. However, if that doesn't work, what are we left with? Well, Charlie Dean. So while Billy Frampton is out, while we have this grace period with our record, do we want to be dropping someone like Charlie Dean after one game? Yes, Braden Maynard comes in. He's a straightaway lock into the side. I appreciate that. Can we? Look, I'll look at the predicted 23 tomorrow and see if there's a way, if we can find a way to squeeze in Charlie Dean. Off the top of my head, I'm not going to say too much because I need to look at the list and move the magnets, so they say. But I think there is a world where, while Charlie Dean was disappointing in his return game to AFL, I don't know. I don't quite know if this is the end for him. And that's just where I sit with it right now. Maybe we'll put a poll in. I'm curious. Should Charlie Dean get one more run at it before the final series? I should have said yes, no, maybe. But it's either yes or no. Tell me what ship you're on. What ship are you guys on here? And what are you all saying about Charlie Dean? Dean failed, says Luke. Gonna have to play small till Frampers is back. As long as he's, God willing, as long as Frampton is fit and healthy and available. Southeast Wolf, he was lucky getting a list spot this year. He was. That's fair. Rando says Dean has had more than enough chances. He's slightly above average VFL level. That is his level. Mark Quigley says you're more optimistic about Dean than most of us. Stefano says he looks lost. Brendan says Charlie Dean is too easily pushed under the ball. He looked lost. Fair. Ben Zero says Frampton was failing constantly until he wasn't, and this year we benefit from the perseverance or persistence. This is the universe I'm living in, Benny Zero. Like I remember the things we said about Frampton, how far gone he was, and look how he's bounced back. So leave no stone unturned with this guy in this scenario where we lie in at the moment with Frampton unavailable and with limited key size defenders. I'm just not willing to fold that hand just yet. in Charlie Dean. I don't want to fold yet. Voido Generation says, I feel for bad piling on Dean, but he just looks lost at senior level. Judge, love your channel, mate. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Dees says, I think Dean will get at least one more chance before Frampton comes back. Brendan reckons we'll play smaller in the back line. Voido Generation says, Frampton always had the attributes. He locked down Andrews in the grand final, so there was no slouch. You couldn't get Dean to do a role and execute it. Frampton has basic footy IQ. That's probably the ultimate difference, is the size. Like, Billy Frampton's 6'6". And the thing is with Frampton, Benny Zero, is although he wasn't, yes, we were on his back big time last year, but he had shown signs in multiple games with stretches that he was capable, if he could find the level of consistency needed. The problem with Dean, in the 4 or 5 game sample size that he has had at AFL level, we haven't seen signs. We haven't even seen moments in games yet. Luke Deba says, not worth it. Would rather have the hyphen come through the back line to help out. That's a good point. Hyphen's pretty versatile there. Makes us a little bit taller. Boomer, how you going? Lots of feedback here. Darcy Moore has to play on Kerno. Illaru Smith, the next Murphy. Maybe he's in the wrong position. How quick do the weeks go when the football season is on? 4 days to go and it's on again. Baby, I love it. On replay. He just looks more slower than Framp Goat. McStay could play as a rotating defender. I was a big advocate to see one of those big 3Ms play defense this year, but it just hasn't happened. I don't think it will. He'll get another chance. He's just not ready yet. Growth mindset. I don't know. I don't personally know, but trust that Fly and selection committee to make the right decision. Lawrence says, Charlie is only 24 years old. Give the guy a break. As far as I'm concerned, I would rather persist with Charlie and get rid of Frampton. Oh, Lawrence, you had me until you said get rid of Frampton. Come on, I was not a supporter of Frampton last year, but how can you not be this year? Anyone can have a bad game. Give him one more go. It's very controversial in here. It's 50-50. The poll says 51% yes, 49% no. So, look, guys, no matter how bullish you are in your opinion, the reality is it's not as, what's the word? It's not as unanimous as you think in the crowd.